Good evening and welcome to Roxboro Community School and to our first ever Future Voters Forum. I'm pleased to see both many familiar faces and some new faces in the building tonight as well. For those of you who are visiting us for the first time, I hope that you will come back soon and let us take you on a tour of our historic cotton mill. And for our familiar faces and loyal supporters, we thank you for joining us tonight, and we are pleased to report that our 9th year is off to a dynamic beginning. We have reached full capacity, opening school with just over 700 students this year, plus more on our waiting list. Our capital campaign is beginning soon to restore the final section of our historic cotton mill to full functionality by adding a gymnasium, a multi-purpose room, and additional fine arts space. Our first cohort of AP Academy students are off to a very strong start, studying diligently and also planning for their first community service project. It is their desire, that type of desire to persevere and to excel and to give back to their community that gave this school its grassroots beginning, and that same spirit that allows us to continue to thrive today. Our students here are a shining example of why we should be so proud to live in Person County. Their inner drive to serve their community makes a difference here and abroad, and that same ambition is on display tonight. Our own 11th grader, Clay Fox, has been volunteering with the Person County GOP, where his passion for politics has blossomed. This forum was in fact born from his volunteer experience there. We appreciate tonight the candidates from both political parties that were willing to come together to educate our students on the power of the vote in a democratic society. We thank you, and we thank our sponsors, Golden Corral and DATCO. And at this time, I would like to invite Clay Fox to the podium to kick off this special evening. And thank you.
Hello. My name is Clay Fox, and I would like to discuss with you the importance of voting. If you are not already registered to vote, I would like to invite you to register to vote at my table over there. In 1606, 104 would-be colonists met to elect a leader that would decide the future of their ambitious project to colonize the New World. That vote determined the fate of not only their lives, but of the entire colonization effort of British North America. Jumping to 1775, we see at the Second Continental Congress, where voting signified defiance against tyranny and paved the way to American independence. Over history, elections have signified the basic human right of speech, and that such value of the individual is not experienced everywhere. Throughout history, we can see that only the most feeble of empires have not respected the process of voting. But we, as Americans, are a living testament that the success of a powerful nation is achieved by the people of that nation's involvement in its democratic systems. And only through continuing that process can we hope for a government that holds the core values of its people. And yet, even as the importance of voting is as more important as any transparency era, voter turnout is dropping. Why is voter turnout dropping? Is it because we are too busy? Or because we don't care? Maybe because we don't feel as if our single vote is important. The answer is all of these. As a country, we have forgotten that every vote counts. The youth of this country have forgotten the principles of which this country was established on. The Census Bureau reported that from 2008 to 2012, young adult voter turnout dropped by 14%, and it is expected to drop every election year afterward. And all of this is our fault. My generation and those after me have not been shown the importance of voting. It has been nearly completely removed from our lifestyle. If not for my grandmother, Mazzelle Hicks, who is here today, I would not nearly be involved in politics as I am now. That shows that it takes only one family member to get our young people to show interest in the electoral process. However, it is not just our young people who need to understand that every vote matters. For example, in 1948, Harry Truman, if he had lost just one vote from every electoral precinct in the state of Ohio, he would have lost the 25 electoral votes that Ohio provided, and that would have cost him the election. As President Truman said best, it's not the hand that signs the laws that holds the destiny of America, instead it's the hands that cast the ballot. My conclusion is that voting is a privilege, and this privilege is craved by others, and we owe it to the past, the future, as well as those who wish they had the right to vote, that we should vote. It is our duty as Americans to vote, and I think we can all agree on that. Thank you. I would like to introduce our student moderator, Ms. Anderson Clayton.
Thank you, Clay. Hello all, my name is Anderson Clayton and I'm a senior here at Roxborough Community School. I want to welcome you all and thank you for taking the time to visit with us tonight. We hope to have an insightful and enjoyable evening. My classmates that are joining me here tonight are attending to learn more about their most important civic responsibility, voting. This is the one time in an adult's life he or she has the opportunity to influence government in a positive way through voting. My thanks to each one of the candidates for joining us and sharing their perspectives on what can make our community and state a more productive environment that serves all citizens. At this time, I would like to invite Mr. Kendrick forward to begin our introductions.
Nothing like being first, is it? Tracy Kendrick. I'm 50 years old. I've lived in Person County almost all my life. 4 years of my life was spent in the Marine Corps. Traveled around the world, but most of it's been here in Person County. I got to looking around at Person County politics and wasn't real happy with the way things were going, in my opinion. So that's the reason that I started getting involved in politics in Person County. Excuse me, and threw my name in the hat to run for county commissioner. I hope that you guys will get out and vote, and I hope that when you do go vote, that you'll vote for me, Tracy Kendrick. My wife and my 2 sons, my sister, my mother-in-law and father-in-law are all here, and I hope that you'll walk up and speak to them when it's all over with. But most of all, when you go to vote in the fall, I hope you'll vote for Tracy Kendrick, County Commissioner. Thank you.
Sorry about that, I didn't catch that part of that. I want to thank RCS for hosting this tonight, and I think it is very important that the young folks in this school took this on as a challenge. All of us have to get a start somewhere. I started my career in political, and at the time I never even dreamed of it. I started in the 6th grade as student council president. And I learned parliamentary procedure in the only place that I've ever had parliamentary procedures when I took FFA in middle school. So that is the start, and y'all have already got a great start towards it. I have been in law enforcement now for 27 years, and during my tenure as sheriff so far, I've had a lot of successes. For one, I actually was appointed by the Speaker of the House, Joe Hackney at the time, to serve on the Domestic Violence Commission, which was a great honor, and I also currently serve. I was appointed to the Siegen Commission, which represents all of North Carolina's law enforcement on our criminal information exchange. And that is my time. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Mike Woodard, and it's always a great pleasure to be here at Roxborough Community School. As your state senator, I have fought hard to protect those things that Person County citizens value. A strong education that serves our children and respects our teachers. Protections for our family farmers and timber growers. Economic development that helps our small businesses and brings new jobs. Fair pay and retirement for our state employees. And clean air and water as co-author of the legislature's toughest coal ash cleanup bill. But many politicians in Raleigh have fought against our values the last 4 years. But I stood strong in the face of this adversity.